Hi, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. It's Wednesday, October the 12th. And like every Wednesday, I'm joined by a very recognizable name in the sports betting industry. He's been doing this for quite some time. We joked last week that when he started, he was little Al, but now he's big Al McMordie. Al, how are you, my friend?
Pretty good, Ross. How are you today?
Oh, I can't complain. So we're into week 6 of the NFL season and week 7 in the college football season. How they've been treating you so far, Al?
So far, so good. Had a losing week last week after a red hot start to the season. That was, I guess, due to happen, but no complaints on my end. Still off to a very good start in football, especially in the NFL. So we'll keep chugging along.
There you go. I mean, that's what we do here. We're transparent. We beat on our chest when we win, but our integrity also we'll tell you when we lose, and yeah, I could tell you one thing. If Al's coming off a losing week, you need to follow him this week because he very seldom loses 2 weeks in a row during football season. We use the same handicapping software. That's a 4D handicapping software. If you want to know anything about that, there's a very nice article on the 4D handicapping software we use over at Al's site, which is bigal.com, where you could also get his premium paid selections. Nice article there on our software from ESPN. And there you go, folks. I mean, you want to check them out. bigal.com. You can find me at rbwins.com. Off to a great start in the NFL, currently number 1 at sportsmemo.com in the NFL. With a 21-10 record to start the season, good for 68%. College football, NFL combined 40-26, 61% thus far. Also, what am I missing? Major League Baseball, 6-1 last 7. NFL primetime games this year, 9-2, including 9-1 in the last 10. In my NFL 10-star top plays, which are the equivalent of what others deem to be their best bets, a perfect 6-0 so far this year. Al, we got 2 big college football games on tap to discuss. You're going to be looking at a battle of unbeatens between Oklahoma State and TCU, a game that will be played at TCU. What do you got for us, my friend?
Well, TCU is 5-0. They're not only unbeaten, they're also unbeaten against the spread as they're 4-0 with a push ATS. And that's key for me. I'm not going to step in front of TCU, especially not when they're playing in Fort Worth. When you look at how college football teams do over the last 42 years, Ross, if they're undefeated straight up and ATS, they've covered the spread 64% at home at game 6 forward if they were not favored by 7 or more points and if they were playing at home or on a neutral field. So that bodes well for the Horned Frogs on Saturday, as does the fact that the home team is now 8-2 ATS the last 10 in this rivalry. I'm going to take TCU minus the short number.
TCU minus the 3.5 against Oklahoma State, folks. It might not be a bad idea to buy it down to 3, and I'll elaborate on that further. It's not a sign of weakness. It's just smart sports betting. That's all it is, folks. It's a key number 3, and nothing worse than losing by a half a point on a key number in football, which are 3, 6, 7, 10, and 14 when it comes to college football. All right, so Al likes TCU, lay to 3.5, buy it down to 3 against Oklahoma State. I have a
I
similar.
wouldn't buy it. I would just lay the 3.5, Ross.
All right, just lay to 3.5. Al's telling you. All right, so that's a personal preference, different philosophical differences there, and that's always good, folks. You can learn something from that. I'm going to look at North Carolina State at Syracuse, a battle of top 20 teams. NC State comes in with a 5-1 record, ranked number 15 in the country. Syracuse, a perfect 5-0, and they're ranked number 18. Anybody who would listen to me, I tried to tell them a few weeks ago, don't fall asleep on Syracuse. I know they didn't get a lot of preseason love, but this is a really good team. They play great defense. They're producing on offense, and they're going to be have their hands full on Saturday, to say the least. Having said that, this is the first game since 2001, at the Dome in Syracuse between 2 teams that are ranked in the top 20. obviously Syracuse is the major culprit there because they have not been consistently in the top 20 over the last couple decades. NC State, a little more than them. But having said that, we're looking at a big crowd in Syracuse. They call that the Loud House in the Dome. And so though I see them having an emotional edge in that regard. NC State coming up a narrow 19-17 win over Florida State last week, Al, and they were quite fortunate to come away with that win as Florida State threw a late interception while approaching the red zone with less than 30 seconds to play. And now the week before that, they played Clemson. And also in last week's win, NC State starting quarterback Devin Leary was banged up, and his status is questionable. And even if he does play, who knows how close he is to 100%. My guess he's not going to be. Syracuse will also be playing with revenge in this game from a 41-17 loss last year at NC State. Anytime you have a college football undefeated team that's a favorite of 3 or greater, they're playing with revenge. It's game 6, I should say, after game 5 of the season, which Syracuse currently at 5-0. And they're facing a conference opponent like NC State that's coming off a straight up win in which they allowed 34 or less. And that conference opponent also has a win percentage of 666 or greater. Those teams, those home favorites in that situation, 23-4 against the spread since 2001, and they won 26 of those 27 straight up for what it's worth. As opposed to Al, I'm going to recommend Syracuse right now is -3.5. I'm going to buy this down to 3. Again, I'm not going to further explain what I already explained before. And, that's what's great about this industry is you get guys like me and Al, we may have philosophical differences, even as small as they may be, but, we both use use our experience in this regard to say, this is what's worked for me and this is what's worked for him. Anyway, Al, what do you have coming up this week that the folks could look forward to? And again, plug your website and let them know all about it.
Well, I've got a lot of stuff in the NFL this week. I'm probably going to have about 8 or 9 plays in the NFL. I haven't finished my college football handicapping yet, so I don't yet know what I'll have for Saturday in total. For Wednesday, I've got to play in the Marshall, Louisiana college football game as I look to keep my hot streak going. I'm 102-73, my last 175. So it's been a good run here, and we'll look to keep it going this weekend.
Very good, Al. That's BigL.com, folks. A lot of great handicappers beside Al at that site. And I'm also a member of one of his affiliate sites, pickadvisor.com. You'll see me at the top of the leaderboards there over the last 60 days as well. So find me at rbwins.com. I'm not going to go over my records again. You heard them already. And let's make some money, folks. I don't know what you're waiting for. Jump aboard. And for those of you who have, congratulations. Anyway, for Big L and Ross Benjamin, we'd like to wish each and every one of you all the very best. Take care and God bless, folks.